Okay, let's do this. Hi. So tomorrow I go back to a week of working on a TV show. I'm not sure if I should say the name of the show or what it's about. It's a reality show. Because of that, I wanted to talk about why film, why I got into making movies, how I got into making movies, why I like running around with a camera so much, why I am attempting to make that my living, why it's what puts a spark in me. I actually have two sets coming up. One is this reality show, and another is a short art film that I will be filming out in the middle of the desert with a crew I have never met before. So, fingers crossed for those. We'll see how they go. Hopefully great. Hopefully I'll be able to sit and talk to a camera about them in not too much longer. Is my framing okay? Who knows? I graduated film school. Film for me is another outlet for creativity. It's another way to express myself. It's another way to put art into the world. And that's sort of what's always been a draw to me, is creating things, is making art, is putting your thoughts and emotions and dreams and expressions and fears and every idle anything that runs through your head out into the world for others to experience, for them to be entertained, for them to laugh, for them to cry, for them to be shocked. Whatever you want to do with art, you are putting a piece of yourself out there and sharing it with the world. And I think that's fascinating. But there's always been a draw to it for me. I remember when DVDs came out and I was suddenly enthralled by the fact that I could watch behind the scenes for any movie we owned. I could see bloopers, I could see gag reels, I could see commentaries, I could see, whatever features they could cram into there. Enormous amounts of behind the scenes on things like Lord of the Rings or the Star Wars prequels, which I used to watch a lot as a kid. Now I know they're kind of objectively shit. But when I was 8, I watched all the behind the scenes for it. I loved looking at the miniatures, I loved seeing the green screen, I loved seeing the editing rooms and how John Williams was composing the score. There's a process, there's a collaborative creativeness to making a film. And that's what I adored about film school. The film school I went to didn't technically exist when I started college. It's a branch of the community college I went to. And it opened up while I was pursuing just a general associate's degree. And then the next year, once I found out about it, that it had just opened, I jumped in on as close to the ground floor as I could be at that point. It was the second year of the program. The first year was like, okay, how do we do this? From everything I've heard from people who had it, they were still trying to acquire gear, so we didn't get the cameras we were promised in August until March. It was all experimental, it was creative. Our instructor was teaching us as much as he was prepping us to work in the industry, as he was learning to teach a class about film. Some days he'd show up and he'd be like, all right, we're gonna build a dolly track because I don't know what else to do. We haven't done that yet, so let's just do it. I don't want to lecture. So we do things like that. It was incredibly hands-on. It was a 1-year program, production 2, and thesis, and then 2 editing classes. And then some online components, screenwriting, film history, stuff like that. But what it allowed was, I want to say in week 3 of the entire program, barely into this year of school, we were hands-on with the camera. We were passing around lenses, we were looking at apertures, we were setting up light panels, we were building C-stands up and floppies and learning to do things very directly. And that is extraordinarily valuable to me because I never did home movies as a kid. My creative outlets were drawing comics, writing awful books and scripts. I didn't know how to write a script at the time, I just would write, what I thought a script looked like. Trying to make video games. Wow, this lighting is changing like mad. I'm sorry, it's a weirdly cloudy day. I made Let's Plays. There's a channel out there somewhere with all my old Let's Plays on them. I'm not going to link it. I started when I was 14 years old. They're not good, but that's what I did. I used a digital side more than anything to make artworks, to try and create. And those skills have actually really come in handy because I learned how to edit from a young age on an old version of Sony Vegas. I learned how to sync audio, I learned how to attempt to balance audio time warp, do title cards, do weird little ideas I had that I wanted to throw into these old videos. They're extraordinarily hard to look back on now, mostly because my voice is ridiculous and I sound nervous as hell in all of them. I probably look nervous now on camera. I'm not used to this part. But when I joined up with film school and I saw that everyone else had been doing home movies, or in Anna's case, she'd been vlogging for years at this point. She'd been filming every little facet of her life. She'd been doing videography before she even got a company. I felt a little out of my element. But getting so hands-on so quickly, I feel it kept us all in the same league. Some of us were certainly better at some things than others. I wound up doing sound and actually own a Zoom H4n. Hopefully it sounds okay in this room. We needed a second boom arm. And there was one guy in our class who was really good at sound. He taught me on the fly on one of our sets. We all directed a movie, by the way, I'll come back to that. How to operate a Zoom recorder and a boom mic. And I became the designated sound guy for the last half of our sets. And that's a skill I wouldn't have learned otherwise if our class wasn't so small, if it wasn't so hands-on. There were 15 of us first semester, 12 of us second semester. Or was it 16 and 13? Either way, a very small class size. Our one instructor, the program director, and then an animation teacher who also did online classes. So everyone wound up doing everything due to our class size. We made 2 shorts together in the first semester. I wasn't able to make one of them, but I was there for the second. And that was my first experience being on set. I was technically gaffer, but due to crew size, I wound up pushing a dolly. I wound up using bounces and C-stands and things like that weren't directly gaffer related. I was kind of grip gaff sound. That became a joke in our class, that if you were one of those, you were all of those. Second semester, we made 13 movies. Anna and I, and a guy from our class, Zach, were there for every single set. We were there for each and every one of them. Everyone else did maybe 8 to 10. Some people did 3, I think, which was the bare minimum to graduate as a thesis student. We all had to direct our own film, we all had to write our own film, we all had to cast and get props and locations. We had to produce our film effectively. We had to edit it together. We helped each other with all of this, of course. We had to assign crew positions to everyone else in class. My first set, second semester, I was assistant camera. I swapped lenses and batteries all day, which was fine. Next up was my film, wrote, directed, edited, cast, got the locations, got the props, got the costumes I needed. You can watch my movie on my channel. It's called Villainous. I had a brilliant time making it and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Shout out to my crew, shout out to my actors, shout out to Anna for keeping my head on straight. Let's say day 1 of my set, I was having a moment a little. She kept my cool for me. So, thank you, darling. Next up was Anna's set. Great time, all outdoors. It was goofy, it was fun. Maybe she'll put her movie on YouTube eventually. If she does, I'll throw a link to it somewhere here. Then, oh god, there was one between ours actually, but it felt like a day of class. We were shooting on campus in the men's bathroom, which is, yeah, that's on YouTube, you can find it. Then we had more through the rest of the semester. Actually, another 7 films after that. 2 the first semester, 11 the second semester. I did my math wrong. 13 in total. That's why I went to film school, so I don't have to do math. We all had to work different crew positions. We all had to do different things. We all had to be put in the director's position. The difficult stuff none of us wanted to do. And from people I have talked to on sets in film school, they were assigned a role. I changed from wanting to edit exclusively when I showed up on campus to wanting to write, to direct, to work a camera, and then I had a great time doing sound, and that was entirely on accident. I didn't get to play with lights as much as I wanted, but there were people who were better than that, or better than me at that in class, so that's fine. Our shorts got shown, all the movies we made, all our thesis projects got shown in an actual theater in Sedona, which was pretty damn cool. Everyone's families came out, everyone's friends, they cast, and it was amazingly cool. It was brilliant. It felt like a moment of validation in a way. We all toiled so hard. Our teacher left us to the winds in the second semester, which was actually a really smart idea on his part, although it did lead to some rough situations. Maybe I'll talk about another day. It let us grow and flex our muscles and filmmaking skills in a way that was unrestrained. The one we did in the first semester, he was over everyone's shoulder, kind of reining it in, and like, okay, we need to do this now, we need to do that. Go do this, go do that. The second semester, when we were left to our own devices, it was, shit, you know those big lights, like the tungsten ones? Yeah, what are those called? I don't know, we need like 3 of them. Can you go find them? Yeah, whatever. Put them maybe over there. Shit, we don't have power, we're outside. Can we run a stinger all the way over to that light pole and plug into it? Like, it was kind of a free-for-all in a way. I lost all my locations 2 days before I'm shooting, can I go film here? Am I allowed to set off a smoke bomb on the college campus? It was, this is technically public land, we don't need a permit, right? Oh shit, I don't have any actors. Can one of my crew members do it? Well, we're not allowed to cast each other. But, well, I was hoping we could do all this in one day. Do you guys want to just show up at 9 a.m. tomorrow? I'll buy you coffee. Okay. It was rough, it was messy, it was art. And it was the best time I've ever had in school, or honestly some of it out of school. But that experience of being put in those positions forced me to think differently about a medium that I'd had an interest in but never considered seriously. I figured I'd wind up making video games, or writing comic books, or doing something on YouTube, right? I figured I'd be streaming on Twitch, which I do occasionally. Who knows when I'll get back to that. I figured it'd be something like that. I never really considered, what if I buy a camera, and some sticks, and a recorder, and some lights, which I didn't set up, I should have, and I just make short movies with my friends, with my girlfriend. What if I film weddings for a living? What if I work on a television show? What if I work on an art film? What if I get paid to do these things? What if that's what my career winds up being? I never considered that. And film school put me in a position where it was like, yeah, I could do that. I remember first semester before Anna and I were really friends. We met in film school. We met at this campus. She came from Missouri. I drove over a mountain every day. She didn't come from Missouri daily. She moved here from Missouri to go to school. I should clarify that. That'd be a long drive. But before we were really talking, before we were friends, and long before we were dating, we were sitting outside editing one night, because in first semester it was at night. And she goes, well, what are you planning to do after this? And I'm like, I don't know. I figure I can go work at a TV station in Phoenix, news. And it's something like that. And she was like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I said, what about you? And she said, I want to start my own videography company. And I'd never considered something like that. And she said, I've been planning this for years and I want to do it. And she has. She has her own company. She owns an LLC. She has a brand. She has business cards. She does business meetings. There was an expo for a wedding fair. And she had a table. I was there with her, showing off her videography company, a demo reel, her website, giving out coupons and raffling off a free wedding. She has a legitimate videography business now, and she had that dream when she came to film school. And I think that's fucking brilliant. I think that is the coolest shit. Me, on the other hand, I had no goddamn clue what I was doing. I went because, effectively, it sounded fun. I needed to close out my credits. I didn't know what to do in terms of electives. So I jumped into film history online. And I was like, oh, that was neat. I liked that. That was really fun, actually. I learned a lot. I hadn't considered things like this. Next year, production opens up again. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it. And that's how I went in, because I was like, that could be fun. It'll give me something to do in college. And I fell wildly in love with it. And I didn't expect to, in the least. And it caught me so off guard. That's why 2016 and 2017 were such good years for me, because it put me in that position where I was forced to think, I was forced to act, I was forced to be creative, I was forced to meet new people, and I made some incredible friends. I met my absolute favorite person in the world. It kind of changed my life in a way. So that's why film.